This modern world is radically different. I'm not sure if I were starting out in your world, how well I would do. It would be a lot harder than it was to get ahead in the world the way it was when I came up. My best advance, I think you'll be happier if you reduce your expectations than if you try and satisfy them. It sounds silly, but it's so obvious. You know how many of us are fairly content with pretty moderate success. That is worth knowing, because that's what most of us are going to get. So many of you now who want to be rich by going into finance. And of course, that multitude is not going to all get rich. Of course, 99% will be in the bottom 99%. That's just the way it's going to work. If I look at the people in my generation, the nerds who were patient and rational eventually did well, who lived within their income and worked at being sensible, and when they saw an opportunity, grabbed it pretty fiercely and so forth. I think that'll work for the new nerds of the world. The people who get ahead because they're star salesmen or charismatic personalities, I'm not one of those, so I don't know how to do that. So if you're not a nerd, I can't help you. I think that the odds are that most people who try to do finance are not going to succeed. And there's a lot of wretched excess in it because easy money will always attract wretched excess. It's just the nature. It's like a bunch of animals feeding on a carcass in Africa. I don't think it's so pretty. And I don't think that modern finance is so wonderful. And in my day, a lot of the finance people were more like engineers. They were so chastened by the Great Depression and all the wretched failure that they really tried to make everything super safe. And it was a very different plodding place that the people weren't trying to get rich, they were trying to be safe. And you've got to find something you're interested in, because it's just too much to expect of human nature that you're going to be very good at something you deeply dislike doing. In my whole life, I've never succeeded much in something I wasn't interested in. So I don't think you're going to succeed if what you're doing all day doesn't interest you. That's one big issue. And of course, you have to play in a game where you've got some unusual talents. You do not want to play, if you're 5'1", you don't want to play basketball against a guy that's 8'3". It's just too hard. And so you got to figure out a game where you have an advantage, and it has to be something you're deeply interested in. And so I recommend the engaged life. You spend all your time thinking about, you want to do something every day where you're coping with the reality. I don't think operating over many disciplines, as I do, is a good idea for most people. I think it's fun, that's why I've done it. It's been a wonderful path for me, but I think the correct path for everybody else is to specialize and get very good at something that society rewards and they get very efficient at doing. But even if you do that, I think you should spend 10 or 20% of your time into trying to know all the big ideas and all the other disciplines. Otherwise, I use the same phrase over and over again. Otherwise, you're like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. This is not going to work very well.